My wife does not watch the show, and that's good. I'm super happy about that.
My dad told me sometimes it is shocking the number of people like in my life, like just like friends who've never mentioned it will be like, "Hey, I saw you had that Dick guy on. He's really funny. I like him." I'm like, don't listen to the show, please.
Yeah. Oh,
please don't listen. And my dad, he was like, I was listening to the show, and it's a little out there, but it's very funny. It's very funny. I was listening to it in my office, but I found that I kept having to put my hand on the dial to turn it down when you would call someone retarded or something. And so I just decided that's an activity for home. And I'm like, Dad, please don't listen. My grandparents have literally like, they know I do this. They're like Southern Missouri, like strong Christian kind of folk. And like my mom will be like, oh, I've listened to one or two. It's very funny. It's a little raunchy though. And my grandma will be like, I am never going to listen to my little baby on that show because I don't even want to know the kind of things he's saying. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not listening to it.
My worst is when my real life and my like online life cross over. My dental hygienist is like, yeah, what's the name of your show again? Like, that shows you're a good person. You're not my demographic.
Oh, I had my sister messaged me like 2 weeks ago, and she told me, "Hey, my niece and nephew, her children, saw your last YouTube video, and they thought it was really funny." And I'm like, "Your kids are like fucking 12 years old. Why the fuck are they watching my shit?" I can't say that because I don't want to like maybe they're watching a lot of other shit, and I don't want to rat them out or whatever. But I'm like, oh
I dropped 2 F-bombs and 2 S's in the last 3 sentences. Why are your children watching this?
Yeah. It is funny though, like having to make that like so that was the worst, like in college. Like I guess like I've been doing this show for like over 5 years now, and like trying to hit on a girl or something out at a bar, and this is 2013 or whatever. Podcasting isn't as well known with just normal people out and about on the college campus I was at, or at the bar I was at. I was out of college then, and like going up to a girl and starting to chit chat, and then having a drunk friend be like, "This is Taylor. He does a podcast," and I'd be like, "Well, I'm not gonna waste time continuing this conversation because you're looking at me like I'm a fucking weirdo now." Tim, stop. I know you said you think it's cool. It's not. It's not. It's not cool. People are looking at me like I'm retarded, and I don't care for it. And so, yeah, don't. If you have a buddy out there, listeners, who does a podcast, don't bring it up in public. Don't.
Yeah. I think it's almost gotten to the point where it seems, maybe it's just because of the corner of the internet I'm in. It seems like every fucking person is a fucking podcast now. Like if you do anything on the internet, if you have a SoundCloud, if you have a fucking Twitch stream or whatever, you also just make a podcast. I don't know. Is it really that?
Do you look down on other if some guy says I have a podcast too, it's like,
fuck you.
When you hit episode 52, ring me back. Yeah, because
there can only be one.
Yeah. You're 11 episodes into your podcast. Get the fuck out of here. You don't have a podcast.
Guys, give me a break.
Yeah, because you guys actually had like one of the first ones where like a bunch of like
but
gaming.
Not so elitist. You need 500 or 700 episodes. But if you're under 52, right, which to me is less than a year. Get the fuck out of here. You haven't done shit yet. You don't have a podcast.
How about that? I have an idea for a podcast. I got me and my buddies, we got so many funny stories. We're like, okay, yeah. I sell life insurance. That's what I do. Oh, what does your boyfriend do? He sells life insurance. Oh yeah, no follow-up questions at all. Great.
Literally a good friend of mine who owns an insurance brokerage, whatever the fuck, the other day was like telling me a story. And usually when people who work in insurance tell you a story, it's painful. It's upsettingly boring. And he was like, yeah, hired this guy, thought he was the real deal. And then one day he wasn't hitting his sales quotas. So I went in, checked his internet history, and turns out every time I'm not in the office, this motherfucker is researching shit about samurais in ancient Japan.
This guy's cool guy of the week so far.
I was cracking up. I'm like, this guy rules. I want to meet him. It's like, and the thing is, he's a little Jewish guy. I don't know why he's so into the. I don't know. But he's. It turned out from 11 to 5 that day, he looked up the Yang Dynasty or some shit and just read about it. And so, yeah, that guy's getting fired.
I mean, that's what you should be concerned about if you're a parent, right? Not about them staying home and beating off relentlessly, but if you come back and check the history and it's 50 ways to study the blade that you've been looking at for 3 hours, that's a conversation you need to have.
He literally said that. He's like, and I found on YouTube like blade crafting tips. And things. It's like, oh.
Well, the worst thing about being a parent now is like your parents can high road the fuck out of you. You know, when your parents scold you, you know, we didn't do drugs when we were kids. Man, fuck bullshit. There is no fucking way that Woodstock happened in this country and every single one of you motherfuckers was as stuck up as you're acting right now. But I can't play that same card to my kid anymore. Now, if my kid gets in trouble when he's in high school, hey, Nathan, come on, dude. What are you doing this shit? He would just say, you know, Dad, I watched the video of you in 2012 calling that Korean guy a gook. I don't think you have much room to talk. I can't high road my kid anymore. I'm fucked, you know? Like, Jesus Christ. What do I say to that? Go talk to your mom. She doesn't have an online life like I do, I guess.
She'd be like, Nathan, it was funny then. It's funny now. That's neither here nor there. But you got to stop pulling shit-related pranks. As funny as it is.
I do think it's really cool. Everybody, or at least I wish I could have seen like my parents as kids, and not like in the fucking black and white or like the barely colored.
You
photos
are your
of
parents as kids.
Yeah.
Or my parents as kids. As
a child.
Oh,
see them
okay.
as a
Yeah,
child.
to see like your parents as kids, parents as kids, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Just to see them like their mannerisms and their acting and everything. I think it's really cool that when our kids get older, like there's a lot of video, like you know what I was at 20, you could see videos of it and everything. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
or really scary, I guess, depending on the legacy you have left behind.
The kids growing up right now are going to have beyond zero privacy their whole life. How many kids are growing up learning their first words as Alexa is logging them and sending them to the NSA?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane. Like, and then in the same breath, we'll be like, those Chinese people with their social credit system, crazy. Thank God that's not coming down the pike here, like quickly.
You guys, listen, the Chinese people have a social credit system because they need a social credit system. It's going to improve their society.
Yeah. That's, I mean, other than the $1,000 a month, that's what I like so much about Andrew Yang. The social credit system. He's for it. You didn't hear about that? He's like, oh, I make sure everybody behave.
Your Andrew Yang impression is terrible.
Oh, God.
That's what it sounds like.
For the record, I disavow that joke, okay? I got a lot of fans about the type of Reddit thread up, okay? I disavow all of that humor. I love Andrew Yang. I was